welcome to another episode of Conversation with a Chef. I'm Jo Ritty and I love sharing with you the conversations I get to have with talented and passionate chefs. It's the backstory, if you will, to the food they're putting up. I begin today by acknowledging the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, traditional custodians of the lands and airwaves where this conversation takes place. Land which was never ceded. Land where communities came together to eat seasonally, locally and without exhausting resources. I pay my respects to the elders past, present and rising. Today I'm talking to Alan Tompkins from the Burnt Chef Project. Alan is an ambassador for the Burnt Chef Project, which is an organisation that seeks to highlight mental health within the hospitality industry. This is a huge topic and it's super timely to talk about. 4 out of 5 hospo workers say they've encountered mental health challenges while working in the industry, but a whopping 47% say they would not speak up about it. This gulf is something Alan and his colleagues at the Burnt Chef Project want to address. You can hear Alan in person when he speaks on the panel at Mo-Hospo, an event on the 8th of May at Hope Street Radio, where he'll join Movember ambassadors Sebastian Pasinetti, Anthony Power and guests for a panel discussion around mental health within the industry. I really enjoyed this topic because well-being within the hospitality industry is very close to my heart, and I think that you'll get a lot out of this. Where shall we start?
I was going to ask you the same.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you got in touch with me because I think one of the things that is really important to me when I talk to chefs is, and I haven't spoken about it lately, maybe with the chefs I've been speaking to, but it is that well-being aspect.
Yeah.
And I think because I'm a teacher as well, and I work with young women, and it's increasingly mental health is a really big thing that we need to discuss, and especially after COVID. So let's start with how you got into the industry, perhaps, and what led you to your breakthrough, as you describe it.
Yes.
And then,
And that was the reason why I picked limoncello, because this is where actually I had my breakdown. So I always go for little iconic signals when I'm doing my thing. So I actually did my first presentation in Melbourne here, and
I saw that
mainly because this is where it all sort of ended but started at the same time.
Yeah.
So and now that sun's coming out, that's even better.
So nice.
So that was there's a touch of irony, I suppose, to choosing this venue. And again, sorry we couldn't do it at Oko.
I've got to go. I haven't been to the rooftop, so I need to go there as well.
I haven't been to the restaurant.
Where's the I'm jumping about all over the place here because I've got so much I want to hear from you, but the event, is that at Oko?
It is at... Oh, and I should have this fresh in my mind. I've got it in a OneDrive document. It is at Hope Street Radio.
Oh yeah,
you know that
cool.
In Conroy?
Yeah.
I don't know where it is.
Yeah.
I did a little bit of googling so as I knew what I might be talking about today. So that's really cool. Originally it was going to be at Oko, the rooftop.
Yeah.
And then got postponed, and so we've gone for the bigger venue, and hopefully we can draw a pretty good crowd. So,
yeah.
No, it's going to be exciting.
So we'll go back to the start because I have done a little bit of research on you, and I know that you were perhaps later to come into chefing, but then once you got into it, you really loved it. So can you maybe tell me about how that all worked, how you got into it?
How I got into it? Yep, we can do that, absolutely. Cool. Are we recording now?
Yeah.
We were recording now? Oh, God. I basically got into cooking out of desperation. I was, I think, 23 when I first sort of had the first inkling that maybe chefing was the thing for me. Basically, I completed Year 12 and had no idea what I was doing. I did business studies for a while because accounting was actually the thing that I won't say did well at school, but it was the thing I did the best at school. And I was starting to feel that really wasn't going to do it for me. and then I sort of went through a bit of a hating the world stage, very angst-ridden. As I say in my presentations, it was around about the time of Kurt Cobain and grunge and things like that, and I was sort of
All right.
hell-bent on sort of. Yeah, I wasn't my own biggest fan for a while there.
Yeah.
So there wasn't any real inspiration as to behind what I wanted to do with my life. And then I discovered a 15-week cookery course. This was when I was living down in Geelong. I'm a Geelong born and raised. A 15-week hospitality course. And it covered everything from, bar work, the floor and the kitchen. And there's something about the kitchen that just sort of started speaking to me in ways that nothing really had before. And then one of the ladies running it said, "Oh, what was your favourite part?" And of course I said, without hesitation, the kitchen. I loved it. And she said, "Have you signed up to our 15-week commercial cookery course?" Which, of course, I knew nothing about, so I pretty much signed up on the spot. And yeah, just the kitchen was talking to me in ways that nothing had before. I felt like I had a bit of a purpose and a bit of a chance to make something of myself, and really I didn't look back from there. Just started working in restaurants and pubs in Geelong, because this was before Geelong became the sort of the cafe scene it is now. I think I could only name one or two cafes back in the day in Geelong.
It's pretty impressive now. I love Geelong.
It is awesome now. There's
so
many options. Many options.
That waterfront's amazing.
The waterfront they've done a lot of work on. It's really, really cool. I worked down at Sailor's Rest for a while, which is down on the waterfront there, which is a very iconic venue. And that's actually where the first ever Burn Chef Project information session was held. I held it there, which was sort of like a bit of a homecoming for me.
Yeah, nice.
Which was pretty cool. It was a really, really good night. It really was a good little springboard to what was going to come.
And what do you think it was about being in the kitchen that appealed to you? Do you think it was being part of a team, or the creativity, or the satisfaction of making people happy?
I think it was a bit of everything.
Yeah.
Of course, it's a long, long time ago now.
Yeah.
There's just something about the organisation and just the camaraderie that we had, and it was always plenty of banter going on, which was always cool. As much as you had to be serious at the right time, there was always room for jokes and humour, which I've always loved. I think it was just sort of having a bit of a meaning and sort of belonging to something for the first time.
And were you in kitchens? Were they supportive kitchens? I'm sort of imagining 20 years ago that there might have still been that kind of yelly chef situation.
Yelly chefs? Yeah, no, I don't think I really copped too much of that.
Okay.
If there was ever going to be any sort of yelly shouty stuff, it was more from owners and managers.
Okay. That's good.
But I think I sort of, when I started, I think that sort of yelly shouty chef was maybe starting to calm down a little bit. I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of people that would say otherwise, but I think I was quite lucky through my career, and even when I eventually moved up to Melbourne 11 or 12 years ago now, and I started working in the cafe scene more, there was sort of even less of that. I mean, I think if anything, I was always harder on myself than anything else, which I think was one of my biggest flaws through my career. Is no head chef or manager ever told me off if I did something wrong, because they knew I was beating myself up more than they ever could. So I was always, and people will probably say even now, I'm very, very hard on myself, which I think maybe just stemmed from sort of being late into the industry and maybe trying to catch up a little bit. But I think it also benefited me, because even from my earlier years, the earlier times, I always took the younger chefs and the apprentices under my wing, and just sort of, if I saw that they were struggling with certain dishes or prep items, I was always the first one in there, sort of offering a little bit of advice and just sort of, being an ear to talk to, and I think that sort of carried through all of my career and sort of has even got me to where I am now, both professionally and with what I'm doing with the Burnt Chef. I think I think that was one of my huge passions, was just sort of supporting the younger guys, knowing how hard it is, especially when you first start in the industry. Just having someone there that can sort of be that listening ear and not being the shouty yelly one, as much as I could be shouty and yelly as well. But,
well, we all can, can't we? And it's a hard environment. It's hot. They've got sharp knives. You've got time limits, and then reviews and all that kind of thing. I mean, that's why, isn't it, that hospitality is so challenging, the unsociable hours and all of those things.
I think that's the big one, the unsociable hours. I mean, you miss out on so much. But at the same time, I think sometimes we're guilty of being our own worst enemy, because we sort of always put work first. I always put my work first.
Is that because that's what your identity is, do you think?
I think so. I think it was the unwritten rule that you had to be, if you're rostered on, you have to be working, and you can't ask for Saturdays, and God, you can't ask for Saturday nights off, to go to someone's wedding or something. And I think, again, we're our own worst enemy when it comes to that, because it just seems to be the way it's always been, and you sort of come into the industry thinking that's it. Basically, your weekends are over, and your sort of work's always put first. And I think it's just something you take on, and it's the old phrase, it's the way it's always been type mentality, which again is part of what I want to try and not so much change, but tweak a little bit with the industry. I don't think I can change the industry.
No.
But I can definitely tweak it a little bit. Yeah.
So what happened then? Because you were enjoying it, and there are lots of elements that were really great about it. And I mean, I guess you were doing it for a long time as well. What was the point that it all became too much?
I don't want to use the C word, but I think COVID had a lot to do with it. A lot of that going in and out of lockdowns, where you would see your hours go from 60 hours a week to 15, and then back up to 60 and back down, and in and out of takeaway only, and you lose your creativity a little bit, going from a beautiful presented dish on a plate to then cramming inside a polystyrene box, which as soon as you close that lid, the quality of the food is diminishing by the second. I think that had a lot to do with it. I think because I, at that time, didn't know anything about self-care, and even though I was very, very aware, I've struggled with mental health for 30 odd years, so even longer than I've been in the industry, you don't do anything about it, and you just keep on pushing. And it's obviously, it just got to the point where, like an elastic band, the more you stretch it out, it's going to get to that point. And unfortunately, it happened twice in the space of 6 months, in two different venues. And the first time I thought, it was just because of COVID and the stress of it all. And then when it happened the second time, that really, I think, to start off with, I was in denial a little bit. I thought, I don't know, I can get back in the kitchen. Because I remember coming into a place of work and say, yeah, I'm ready to go. But I think deep down, I think I was only really saying that because cooking is all I'd ever known. And I felt like I didn't have anything else to fall back on. And I think there's a lot of people out there that sort of in this, I've talked to a few people over the last few years that are in similar situations. They just I don't want to use the word trapped. I don't want to say that. But they sort of feel that because this is the only skill they have, they're going to struggle, sort of picking up a job in a different industry.
So how did you? Because I know that you searched on Spotify for some answers, which I thought was a really interesting approach. Is that because you like to listen to podcasts already, or you thought someone else must be talking about this?
I actually, I'd started seeing a life coach.
Okay.
And he has his own podcast, which he's very blunt and he's very to the point with his podcast. So I was listening to a lot of his podcasts, and then one day I was just out walking and I put in chef's mental health into a podcast search, just see what was there, see what was available. And yeah, the Burnt Chef Project was the first thing that came up. So I listened to one of the podcasts on that walk and started hearing what they were talking about in the podcast, and I thought, this is exactly what I've been thinking about for a long time. Because through COVID, I'd studied Cert 4 in mental health.
Oh wow!
And even earlier than that, I had this little idea in the back of my head of working with chefs and their mental health, and thinking, well, nothing's going to come of it. So I thought I'll do some study and sort of learn a little bit more about it. So in the back of my head, I sort of had a bit of an idea of what I would love to sort of aspire to at some point. And the Burnt Chef Project was actually doing exactly what I wanted to do.
What is the Burnt Chef Project?
The Burnt Chef Project was started in 2018 by Chris Hall, who had his own mental health struggles. He had a lot of friends in the industry and a lot of associates in the industry where he could see that there was a bit of a common theme with a lot of them, that mental health was an issue. And he decided to do something about it. So he set up a non-profit organisation back in 2018, and basically it started off just selling merchandise, just to spread the word a little bit, and then it sort of branched out to doing colouring school talks. There's even an app where you can do little short courses where you get a little bit of an idea of what the Burnt Chef Project's trying to do, and then he's obviously started to branch out further than the UK, and because I knew nothing about the ambassadorship way back, I actually just basically emailed. I thought I was emailing Chris, but obviously it would have gone through various sources, and just said, look, I love what you guys are doing. And then I explained my situation a little bit and said I would really like to at least try and start something up similar here. And that's when they suggested the ambassadorship, and so I went away and I read about that, and I think I more or less signed up on the spot, thinking that there'd be a few ambassadors in Australia. I mean, we were a very, very big country. And in December 2021, it was announced that I'd be the very first ambassador for the Burnt Chef Project, and for a very, considering where I was at the time, a very just unsure of where my next step was, and I was very, very introverted. It felt like an almighty challenge.
Yes. And what does the role require?
Basically, we just kind of spread the word. So because I'd already set up my own little Facebook and Instagram page called Mental Health in the hospitality industry. So I'd already started posting just little quotes and things from here and there and everywhere. And once I took on the ambassadorship role, whilst I was still feeling a little bit unsure of, where to take it, and the little introverted me wondering how the hell am I going to do this, I was basically just posting a lot of the Burnt Chef stuff and sort of trying to direct people to the website, and then I don't know where I got the idea, but one day introverted little old me decided I'm going to start doing information sessions.
Right.
So I think about April 2022 I had the first sort of inkling that this is what I was going to do, and I'm thinking, don't like public speaking. I'm very introverted. But for some reason, there was something about this topic that was saying to me, just put it all out there.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I started opening up about my struggles. I started posting blogs and things, just explaining various stages of how mental health has either enhanced or affected my chef career. And I started getting more and more sort of feedback on it, and that's where the sort of the confidence started growing from that. And I thought, you know what, we're going to do this. We're going to do this event. So that's when I contacted the guys at Sailor's Rest and I said, look, I want to do a bit of a dry run. I don't want to sort of hit the ground running in Melbourne. And yeah.
And who came? People from the industry?
People from the industry. There was about 40 or 50 people.
That's great.
Wow. I think I knew. I don't want to offend anyone for forgetting them. I think I only knew about 5 or 6 of them. Some people I hadn't seen for years and years. And basically I stood up in front of 40 or 50 people and did not miss a beat. Just everything that I wanted to say, I got across. And at the end of it, I had a lot of people just coming up to me and saying, this is the best thing for the industry. I've signed up 2 ambassadors on the back of it.
Wow.
Which is really, really cool. One guy I actually worked with 14 years ago. So it's really, really good sort of to get back in touch with him again. And so he's doing great things down in Geelong, trying to spread the word.
So as well as raising awareness about mental health and particularly in the industry, does the Burnt Chef Project offer solutions or strategies, or how does it
There's a
work?
lot of as I said, with the short courses they offer, they also offer mental health first aid training.
Great.
Which I think at the moment people are sort of looking at it as it's a little bit of a barrier with them being a UK organisation, and I'm sort of trying to get across that hospitality is universal. Mental health doesn't discriminate, and the mental health training, the mental health first aid training you can get through the Burnt Chef Project is exactly the same as here in Australia. So I'm just sort of trying to just allow people to see that the Burnt Chef Project, even though they're 10,000 miles away, are just as viable here as it is in the UK.
Absolutely.
Which has sort of been one of the biggest hurdles, I think, on the back of chefs being predominantly men, and men are predominantly don't talk about their feelings. They'll very much talk about football and beer and things, but they certainly don't talk about their feelings, which is another thing Burnt Chef tries to do, which is try and break that stigma of mental health. And mental health goes hand in hand with physical health, and we're very, very quick to talk about our physical health and talk about our scars and our cuts and
Absolutely.
things like that, but the subject of mental health is just not talked about.
And I saw a statistic on your Instagram, or about 8 out of 10 people. What? Maybe you could tell me.
Yeah, you spot on. Yeah, 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
Hospitality workers all have at least one episode of poor mental health in their career, and I've even spoken to people that only did hospitality for a short time, and they've said they've been some of their worst mental health periods of their life. So,
And then there was another shocking thing was that how many percent wouldn't talk about it or didn't feel comfortable talking about it.
I think it was 47%, which
It's huge, isn't it?
it's, let's just say that's half.
Yeah.
And again, 100% of us would very easily talk about the cut we got from this and that, or the burn we got because we got too close to a pan. And we all do it. We all talk about it, and yes, having a competition to see who's got the best scar and things like that. And And because these scars are visible, we are very, very quick to talk about it, or we find it easiest to talk about it. But mental health, and that's why I've been so open with everything. I've left no stone unturned with being as open as I can, just to sort of show that, what has happened to me and the effect it's had, or, just to give people a bit of a chance to sort of go, "Hey, I've been in that situation and I didn't know what to do and I didn't know how to handle it." And that's where with the Burnt Chef project, we're trying to just sort of educate people on how to spot signs of poor mental health in someone, how to spot signs in yourself, and just looking out for each other.
Should it be part of culinary training, given that the industry has such a high incidence of mental health challenges?
I would love it to be part of I think it should be. I'm going to start up a little campaign to get what I call a Chef's Life unit into culinary schools.
Yeah.
Because you don't really hear about the hours. You don't hear about, in some cases, poor pay. That's another thing too, where the whole you do it for the love of it, not the money. The money. Just all those little things, the long hours, the unsociable hours, and then sort of coupled with just the intense pressure at times, and it's that's again where the whole phrase "can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen." It's just an awful way to think about it. I mean, we all have different tolerance levels. We all have different levels. I mean, everyone has mental health. It's just basically how you deal with it, and how.
Yeah.
And a lot of these situations are going to test your mental health a lot of the time. Some of the strongest people I've ever worked with have struggled with their mental health just purely by the pressure of the industry. And
and given that, as a chef, it's all about nourishing people and being hospitable and all of those things. It really needs to come from a strong place, I think, in the first place. So the people providing that nourishment need to be strong and looked after themselves. So I think it sounds like a really great thing to be part of, and a great thing for you to have stepped into. And so you're not working as a chef anymore?
I am not. No, I actually only just in the last 2 months I've started working in mental health. Worked for Irma 365.
Wow.
As a carer respite facilitator. So we are looking after the mental health of people that look after people with mental health and disabilities.
Oh, how important! Wow.
Which is I think a very, very overlooked. I mean, we put a lot of emphasis on helping people with the mental illness and the disabilities, but there are these amazing people that are holding down as close as they can to a full-time job. They're running a household, and they're caring anywhere from their son, daughter, husband, wife, mother, father, and this absorbs a lot of their time, and inevitably, if they're not on top of their own self-care, they're not going to be able to look after their person they're caring for. So this role has just, and I feel blessed every single day that I was offered this job. And I've also learnt a lot about how to sort of approach it from the hospitality side of it as well. So it's working on a lot of levels for me now, because it sort of made me sort of rethink how to approach the whole Burnt Chef project thing. I'm trying to now get away from talking about what's wrong with the industry, because we know what's wrong with it. We've read about it. We've heard the tales. So rather than concentrating on what's wrong with the industry, I'm trying to move towards how we can change the industry, how we can tweak the industry.
Yes.
How we can make managers and owners more accountable for their employees' mental health. I mean, there's the whole there's the whole thing where we talk about working in hospitality. You're one big happy family working in a cafe or a restaurant together. And I think sometimes we need to sort of concentrate on that word family a little bit more and really treat both physically and mentally our staff and our colleagues like we would our family. And I think, again, I'll use the C word because COVID has maybe made some owners and managers aware of that.
Yeah.
How much they have needed to rely on staff because we've gone through staffing shortages and things like that. So I think little changes are happening, and I think as much as we think COVID was completely negative, I think it's had a little bit of a positive spin, a little bit, but there's still so much to do. And that's why I'm so passionate about it, because I feel like you sort of can do it twofold. You start at the bottom with the younger guys, to sort of educate them on mental health, their own mental health, their colleagues' mental health. The big one is about having the conversation if you think someone's struggling, because as much as you could be close to these people, if you say to them, how are you doing? You seem to be struggling. Are you okay? And they say no. There's going to be that sort of, if you don't have these skills that we're trying to educate people, then they won't know how to help someone. So I'm sort of looking at sort of starting at culinary level.
Yes.
Hopefully in the next 12 months or so, I can get a little bit of do a few talks in culinary schools, and then I also think, that's another side of it too, because with the younger guys, if we educate them on mental health, their own mental health, and the mental health of those around them, when they get into the position of being managers and owners, already their way of thinking has changed, because we go through that whole cycle of, this is how I was treated as an apprentice, I'm going to treat my staff like this, and then it just keeps going up and up.
Absolutely.
Through the generations. So if we can start at the start of the start, basically.
Yep.
So we can just slightly tweak it a little bit, and then on top of that, we can sort of go to the managers and owners and say, you've got to be a little bit more accountable for your staff's mental health. There's the whole thing about the customer's always right, the customer's always put first. I think if you put your staff first and treat your staff right, the rest of it's just going to fall into place, because you're going to retain staff if you treat them right.
That's a good perspective.
If you've got that open door policy where someone can, come to you and say, look, I'm really struggling today, can I just hang back and do prep, or, I'm struggling today, we're a little bit quieter, can I go home early? Just people being able to just talk about mental health as though they're talking about their physical health. I think there's probably going to be a lot of pushback from a lot of, dare I say, older owners. But if we can just even try, just sort of show them that sort of treating their staff, a little bit better as far as mental health, they're going to retain staff.
It would be great to have some kind of, what do I want to say, not accreditation, but that if businesses had a little burnt chef tick of approval, I think the public would really love that as well, to know that this is a business that that cares about its staff and has done that.
That's a really good idea.
I don't know if it's possible,
I
but
might have a word. I'll have a word to HQ about that. That's a really good idea.
Because I think people are increasingly thinking about well-being and mental health, and I think so the public could support what you're doing by looking for those places that had that tick.
It's almost, I mean, and you sort of hang your hat on, all these awards that you get, Restaurant of the Year and Chef of the Year and things like that. But something like that can sort of be something that every staff member can be proud of as well.
Exactly right.
And that's where it sort of comes into the happier your staff are, the longer they're going to stay with you.
Yes.
So the less you're going to be spending on advertising, interviewing, the amount of money and time that an owner would go into interviewing people and advertising, interviewing, trialling, And then, if that doesn't work out, then, they're back at the start again with the cycle. And the less they need to do that, then there's more time for the business.
Yeah. So tell me about your Movember event, which has obviously been, it was a postponed event.
Postponed, it was. This has been organised by two ambassadors for Movember.
Okay.
Sebastian Pasinetti. I knew I would trip over his name. Sorry, Seb. And Anthony Power, who he actually was one of the OGs when Movember started in the UK.
Oh, wow.
He was actually one of the guys that started the ball rolling and set it up over there, and continues the great work of Movember over here. So
there's a panel of people, is it?
It is a panel of people.
And what's the discussion
we
around?
are talking solely men's mental health in
Right.
hospitality, which again, obviously, is very, very close to my heart. It's basically we're just trying to just get the word out there and just giving people an opportunity to hear from different people across the hospitality industry, and it's going to be a really, really good night. Food being supplied by Oko, which in my eyes is one of the big reasons to get there.
Yes.
Food at Oko is just amazing.
Yeah.
And there's it's $50 plus booking fee per ticket, with all the money going to Movember. So it's all for a good cause, and come and listen to a very, very important topic being talked about. And we've just got to stop silencing these things. We need more events like this, and I'm really honoured to be part of the panel. And it should be a good way to sort of showcase what Movember's all about, and sort of a little side part for me to sort of get the word out about the Burnt Chef project as well, which again we're slowly trickling it out there. But I've got two guys lined up for interviews in the next. Actually, I'm interviewing one guy on Monday actually for the ambassadorship, and then there's another guy who's in the works as well. So we're slowly getting there. We've got 4 of us at the moment. We went from just me in December 2021 to where are we now? End of April 2023. There's 4. So we're getting there. We're slowly building it. Rome wasn't built in a day, and
That's right.
I think that was one of the problems early on. Because it felt like such a huge task, I felt like I was trying to run before I could walk. And it seemed to be as soon as I sort of slowed it down and sort of focused on one thing at a time, things started happening, and sort of people were starting to take notice a little bit. There's just a huge opportunity for the Burnt Chef to make an impact in Australia. The industry needs it. The workers need it, and in the long run everyone will benefit from it, because as I said, the happier the staff are, then that's going to filter down to the customers and through the food and drink.
Absolutely. Thank you, and thank you for all the good work you're doing, and for your time today.
No, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Conversation with a Chef with Alan Tompkins from the Burnt Chef Project. You can book in for the event at Hope Street Radio through Eventbrite under Mo-Hospo. And if you want to know more about the Burnt Chef Project on Instagram, you can check out at the Burnt Chef Project. If you liked what you heard and you want to hear more stories from other chefs, I'm on Instagram at Conversation with a Chef. You can read the chat at www.conversationwithachef.com, but it's really great if you follow me on Apple and Spotify podcasts. The more subscribers I get, the better. But thanks again for listening, and have a great day.